So, you're doing jiu-jitsu, you found yourself in the closed guard. Last week we went over the Kimura, right? So we don't know all this sitting up and coming back for it, right? Let's do a version of that, okay? Except instead of sitting up and attacking his elbow for the Kimura, we're actually going to attack his shoulder, and we're not initially going to go for the Kimura. I heard something very good over the weekend, where if you want to attack a limb, control the joint before it. If you want to attack a joint, control the joint before it. So if I'm trying to wrist lock you, probably a good idea to control your elbow. If I'm trying to arm bar you, it's probably a good idea to control the shoulder, right? We can all get behind that concept, right? So I'm going to come up to hit Ernest's left shoulder. I'm going up to my right. My right arm is going to be underneath. My left arm is going to be on top, and I'm going to gable grip on top here to my chest. Okay. So again, from here, we're fighting. I come up. I gable grip and I bring his shoulder down to my chest here. Okay? Again, one more time. I come up. I like to let go of my guard because that just allows me to sit up a little bit. My right arm goes, if I'm going to my right arm goes under, left arm goes over. Pull him down using your legs to your chest here. Okay? Now, my job is to sit to my left side. So I'm going to unhook my guard. And again, don't get lazy. I'm going to unhook my guard. I'm going to start rotating until two things happen. His arm gets perched on top of my shoulder, and my left foot is able to step on his hip here. Okay? Now my right arm comes over. I probably should have picked your other arm, Ernest. Sorry, I know this one's injured. Here, I'm going to squeeze for the finish. Okay? Again, one more time. I'm going to be smart this time. I'm going to use Ernest's uninjured arm here. Okay? Again. So from here, now I'm going to the left, right? So now my left arm is going to be under, right arm is going to be over. I sit up and I use my whole body to get his shoulder on my chest. Once it's on my chest, it can't leave. Okay? My left foot hits the ground and I start rotating onto my right side as my right foot steps on his hip here. And again, I'm actively pulling this arm towards my chest. From here, my left leg gets on top and I sandwich his chest in between my knees. Now, if his arm's not already in position, I can shrug my left arm up until his his forearm is nestled between my ear and my shoulder. From here, in order to finish it, I'm going to do a reverse trim, right? So I'm going to find his elbow joint. There's a couple different grips you can do. Some people like to physically hold the elbow here. I don't like that. I don't generate a lot of power. So I literally just double and close my arms here. Now, as I pull down into my chest, I shrimp away from Ernest for the finish, for the reverse armbar finish. Anyone need to see it again?
No, me.
There we go. My answer for everybody. From here, again, I'm going to go to this side, Ernest's less injured side. I'm going to the left, so my left arm's under, my right arm is over, come up, use your whole body to get his shoulder to your chest. Since I went for the left side, my left foot is going to hit the ground, and I start rotating and shrimping out until my right foot is on his hip. That's going to allow my left leg to come over, sandwich his upper body in between my legs. If his arm's not already in position, I'm going to shrug it into position here, and you can see how I'm underneath his elbow already. If you're me, you get the double enclosure, but you can do any type of grip you want. In order to finish, I don't just use my arms. I push down with my arms as I shrimp my butt away from him. Okay? So again, my butt's going away from him. Any questions? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Not a very high percentage submission, but the arm saddle control point is great. So again, I'm going to my left arm under, right arm over. I get control my opponent here. I'm going to the whole thing. Again, a lot of you guys are trying to shift into position without putting your foot on the ground. If you can, step on his hip, but most of you guys are going to have to step left foot on the ground and use that to shrimp out. Sandwich your opponent's body between your legs and get that position. Now, from here, a couple things can go wrong. Either I can't generate enough power to finish this technique, or my opponent manages to get that arm to the other side of my head. Here, okay? Whatever happens, keep that arm tight. You're going to discover why in a second, okay? So if it's still on top of my head, or he manages, he twists his way out and he ends up in front of my body, the technique is going to remain the same, okay? From here, my top leg, in this case my left leg, that shin is going to go across the back of his neck until my knee touches the floor. At the same time, I'm going to rotate my body all the way until looking at his leg. So again, all this happens at the same time. As my shin and my knee slide into position, I get up onto my right shoulder, not my forehead, I get up onto my right shoulder, and I rotate until I'm looking at Ernest's legs here. I have a chance to finish the armbar here, but if he decides to roll, go ahead, roll forward. If he decides to roll, I'm going to catch his leg and make sure I control the situation so I can fix my legs at the end. Okay, right? Because my one leg is going to be behind his neck, so in order to finish it, I need to get it over, so I'm going to control his leg here. Okay, let's look at that again. Young Jew.
No, I think she's the win.
Oh, man. He's got it. I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset. I just heard nothing. I'm a little upset. Class is canceled. If Young Jay ain't coming, I don't want to teach. All right. Left arm under, right arm over, because I'm going to my left, right? I like to open up my guard a little bit here. Really get high and then bring them down using the weight of my body. My left foot hits the ground. I shrimp, and again, this is tight the whole time. Shrimp, get my right foot on his hip, left arm over. All right, left leg over, sorry. From here, I shrug it into position. I'm trying to go for this technique, yeah. Whether he escapes that position or not, this technique is still viable, okay? So, my left leg's on top. I'll try to do this as slowly as possible. I'm rotating on my shoulder, not my forehead, okay? So as I rotate my left knee and my left shin into position, watch, I'm getting onto my right shoulder. This knee stays tight. Again, it's not out wide here. It stays tight. I rotate until I get the belly down armbar here. If you hear me yell for a belly down armbar, this is what I mean. I don't mean your belly actually down to the floor. I mean you're looking at his legs, okay? From here, I have a chance to finish your armbar here, but if he decides to roll, I need to control the situation. So go ahead, roll. I'm gonna catch his leg. I'm gonna help him roll, but watch. At the very end, I have to bring my leg over, okay? And then finish the armbar from here. Any questions? Let's go do this slowly, guys, okay? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Go!
Denise goes up for the shoulder saddle, gets it, hips out, foot on the hip. I'd like to see her a little bit more on her side. This way, again, if you're going for that, if you're going for anything, but really that initial arm lock, you really have to be on your side, almost your chest slightly facing the ground. Same thing with Kirk over here. He's got to be turned way more on his side. She might be able to get it, but it's going to be pretty difficult. You got to turn way more to her side. That way you could really use the power of your body to put pressure on that joint. It's hard enough to finish it as it is. If everything's not perfectly in place, especially in competition, your opponent is not going to feel the need to tap. Here, she switches to the belly down armbar. Knee to the floor. She's got to drop to her left hip. Damn rolls. Gets a leg. And again, as always, she was doing it, but always keep that heel tight because you're only controlling their body with your arm over here and one leg here as opposed to both because your other leg needs time to get over the head. So please make sure you keep that initial leg tight. Keep squeezing the heel in towards the butt to make sure that you have as much control over your opponent's body as possible. I'm going to run it back. I think he was making fun of her for being short because she had trouble getting the arm lockers, if I remember correctly. So here, yep. Gets to the side. Decides to go for the armbar. Posts on her shoulder. She's having a little trouble getting on the shoulder, but that just comes with practice here. Yep, pretty good. So now Sam is going to be the one attacking with the shoulder saddle. Gets it. I think his hands are, can't see his hands. They might be in the wrong position. No, it looks like they're okay. He's got to turn. There we go. Now he's on his side, it looks like. Now he's going to hip back. I'd like to see him turn a little bit more towards the floor, actually. And really got to hip back and hug the arm with both arms. I like the double enclosure method. You could use whatever grip you want. I find double enclosure gives me a lot of control. The control really comes from having your opponent's wrist on your neck and them not being in a position, not being able to extract it. Good. Very good rotation on that one. Boom. Good. Yep. Excellent. There's nothing wrong with that. The belly down armbar is quickly becoming one of my favorites whenever my opponent is hiding their arm in the turtle. I don't know why, but I really like it. And it leads to a lot of back takes and a lot of scrambles that you can control. So I would invest in it even as a beginner. Sam on the bottom again. Goes up for the shoulder saddle here. Gets on his side. Gets his knee high. Looks like he's going straight for that belly down armbar. Very good rotation. Here. Yep, looks like he kept everything tight. Pretty good. Again, you can decide to grab their leg as they roll. I definitely do. I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of control on the arm to be able to control their body as much as I can. So me personally, I definitely go for the leg as they roll. Here, hips out again. I think he's got his arms. Yeah, he's got his hands reversed in the initial shoulder saddle. Everything else looked good. His hands were switched initially. I'd like to see him correct that. Piece on the bottom goes to the shoulder saddle here. Her left hand should be on top. Her right hand should be on the bottom. Yep, good. Going for the armbar. She's got a post on her shoulder. That was good rotation. Got to catch the leg coming over. And that was very good. Nothing wrong with that. Again, catching the leg is a personal choice. I definitely like to catch the leg. I find I can control my opponent way more easily. Oh, another thing I didn't go over the video. I'm going to freeze it right here. You definitely need to be framing your forearms against your opponent's head here. It'll initially be with the arm that's not around the shoulder, but eventually you want your whole frame pushing against their head. Here, posts on the shoulder, gets her hips up, rotates. She looked like she was going for the leg with her arm and then kind of abandoned it. Again, not necessary. I really like holding on to that leg. I don't know if it's out of habit or maybe I'm just comfortable with it now, but yeah, I definitely don't see myself trying to stop my opponent's, going for the belly down armbar without holding my opponent's leg. Okay, she's really got to get way more. Look how almost flat on her back she is here. She's got to turn way more to the floor. That way she can hip out and generate enough power. I hesitate to say power, but generate enough leverage to get a tap. And also, her hands need to be enclosed even more. What I mean by that is her left arm should be grabbing her right bicep. Her right arm should be grabbing her left bicep, not kind of like wrist in the middle here. Yeah, and then she's got to hip back. She's like lifting up or even going forward a little bit. You got to hip back for sure. Remember, simple principle about joint locks: make your opponent's joint go in a direction that it wasn't designed to go. Kirk on the bottom, Denise on top. Kirk has his arm switched. There we go. I think I just told him. Oh, Addie almost runs into Kirk. Hips out. Yep, gets the leg on top. Denise slips her arm, so Kirk is going to go for the belly down armbar. I don't like it when people like post on their chin like this. Try and keep but then again, if I say keep your head tucked, people tend to post on their forehead. Me personally, I post on the shoulder, but obviously my forehead comes into contact with the ground. I'm just really risky about like putting my neck in extension like this. I don't know what the correct way would be, but Kirk is still going to rotate. He's got to rotate a little bit more. I have no idea what just happened. He's so far away from her. He's getting away with it because he's a little bit taller, but he's so far away from me, he's like stretched out. Yeah, definitely stay as close to your opponent as you can. Remember that bottom heel, the one that's around their body, the hamstring should be activated. You should be tucking your heel into your butt as much as possible. Got the reverse situation again. Denise going for the rolling / belly down armbar. That was very good. Here she's going to control the leg coming over. Good. She doesn't hook it, but she helps it over. That's still a matter of control. Or still a method of control, I should say. There we go. Kirk on the bottom here. Probably during sparring. Arm slips out. Much better rotation by Kirk that time. Yes, and controls the situation. He's got to have her thumb to the ceiling, but other than that, pretty good. Denise on the bottom here, going for the shoulder saddle. Kirk giving lots of resistance. So you're going to run into this a lot, where your knee runs into their arm. You can still shrimp out and get your knee through. Just be careful you don't knee your partner in the chin. That, unfortunately, tends to happen a lot. Yeah, Denise, look, she's almost flat to her back. She's got to roll way more to her right until her chest, like I said, is almost facing the ground. Yeah, that way Kirk easily gets the arm back, but Denise has a backup plan. Kirk has a counter to backup plan. A couple things that Denise can do right now. Because Kirk has such a dominant grip on that leg and he's getting ready to pass. If I were her, I would let go of this and prioritize maintaining the guard from here. Let's see what happens. Kirk passes it through the half guard. You could still attack the shoulder saddle from the half guard. You just have to go to the opposite shoulder. Khaled with the saddle. Let's see if he has his grips correct. Yep, looks like he got his grips correct. Let's look at that sequence again. So, this is during sparring, 100% resistance. Kirk tries to high step over the Khaled's bottom leg. Khaled is a little bit flat on his back here, but I think that's a little bit inevitable because he's trying to track Kirk's foot here. Not too bad. But he commits too far. Kirk cannot... Where's my clicker? Kirk can't post with his right arm because it's stuck in the saddle here. So Khaled has an opportunity, if he's lucky, to sweep him going that way. That doesn't happen. But when he comes back, his right leg is now inside and essentially what's almost like a half guard here. He has an outside hook on Kirk's body. So if he wanted to, he could sweep him or he could come up for the back here. Khaled is doing neither. Oh, there we go. Now he goes on top. There we go. Good. So again, there's a lot of things that we didn't go over with the shoulder saddle. Sweeps being the main thing. We missed a lot of sweeps this time. We'll get to it when we come back next time, but I just wanted to concentrate on the arm locks for now. Got Josh here with a deep shoulder saddle here. Okay. First things first. Got to switch his grips. Oh, wait. I don't want to say switch his grip, but his grips look very weak. Keep your wrists strong, like straight, and make sure the correct hand is on top and the correct hand is on bottom. Looks like he's going for Denise's arm to try and get that reverse arm lock. Let's see where it goes. Denise manages to turn out of it. Josh brilliantly swims his knee through. He's got to rotate. There we go. He lost control of her head. If you lose control of your opponent's head, your opponent can now get parallel to you here. You always want to be perpendicular when you're going for an armbar, generally speaking, right? So if Denise can, she can backstep over this way, or at the very least, she's in, I don't want to say no danger, but certainly less danger of getting her arm locked from this position because Josh lost control of the head. Looks like there we go. She's trying to step over. She somehow put herself back in the armbar. Okay, let's look at that again. So she should have landed here. Unfortunately, she spins too far and she literally put herself in the armbar. That's all right. Beginner mistakes. Josh on the bottom again. It's got the shoulder saddle. I think his arms are switched. Or hands are switched, I mean. Can't quite tell. The way it looks like he's going for the rolling armbar again. Yep. Let's see if he keeps his shin on the back of the head this time. So Denise rolls, catches the leg. That was beautiful. Very good. Denise with the saddle. She's got to get her back / hips further out this way. She's got to rotate more towards the floor with her chest. Also, Josh is so his arms are so long that his wrist isn't on her neck. The inside of his bicep is on her neck. So if your opponent is that tall relative to you, or they just manage to get their arm in that position, it's going to be very hard to do anything from there. You need that arm extended. If I were Denise from here, I'd probably move on to something else if I couldn't advance in this position. I mean, I guess that goes without saying. If you can't advance in any position, you probably move on to something else. There we go. She framed out with her bottom hand, manages to get the arm over. Going for the omoplata. Got the arm on the wrong side of the body. Not that she can't do things with it, but if she wanted an omoplata, arm should be on this side of the body. Yeah. She could let him roll and go for the sweep. She could go for a wrist lock. She swings back for a triangle. Oh, it looks like she's trying to swing back for an armbar, but Josh smartly escapes. Got Kirk on the bottom going for the saddle. Youngju doing a good job hand fighting. Youngju doing a very good job hand fighting. Kirk goes for an armbar. Ill-advised. Okay, now he might be able to get it. I don't think Youngju's elbows past the hip line. There we go. And Youngju passes. That was good. Got Nate on the bottom, Bob on top. Looking for the hand to go under. Gets the saddle. I hope his arms are correct. Should have his hands connected when he's got the saddle. Okay, I have no idea what he's doing right now. Yeah, he's like rear naked choke gripping the arm. There we go. That's the correct grip. Now you can use that, or both arms, but at least the bottom arm to frame away on your opponent's head, which is going to become very important. It's double enclosure. I'd like to see him truly double enclose and not just have his hands like on his opponent's arm here. I'd like to see him hugging his own arms. Makes the switch. Catches the leg, squeezes the heel in. Very good. They run it again. Clears the arms. Okay, that's an interesting way to get the shoulder saddle. Nothing wrong with that. So he didn't go gable grip. He went double enclosure on the grip. Again, as long as you break your opponent's posture, you can control their shoulder. No problem. Bob's struggling to get the arm out. Nate looks like he's going for the reverse armbar. That's a good position. So we saw at the very end, look how far his chest is to the floor. Again, not turned completely to the floor, but he's very securely on his side. His foot is on the opposite hip, so he's got enough power to shrimp back and hug the arms here. And Bob has to tap. Got Charlie on the bottom here. Oh, we've got a mistake already. Look at that again. From here, again, his hand, he was going for the shoulder. His hand slipped to the bicep. No good. All you're going to do, I shouldn't say all you're going to do because there are things you could do from there. But if your goal is to get to the shoulder saddle, you have to attack the shoulder, not the elbow. Yep, nothing from here. In terms of shoulder saddle, we got nothing. He's going to reset. Control the shoulder this time. I'd like to see his grip maybe, first of all, he's got to get a correct gable grip. But I'd like to see it even a little bit higher here. Remember, the goal is to keep your opponent's posture down. Easier to control their posture the closer you are to their center line. Gets a leg over. Again, nothing wrong with getting the leg over for this armbar. From here, I'd like to see him post on his shoulder a little bit more. And he's got to continue to roll through. There we go. He's way too far from his opponent now. Yeah. We saw, let me rewind it a little bit. From here, look at all this. Before he even starts to roll, look at all this space. By the time he rolls, Zach's elbow is going to be out. Look, it's already out. Here, no danger of the armbar here. And Charlie loses the position. Yeah. Zach's elbow has been out for a while. Gonna squeeze his heels in. And I'd like to see him grab the wrist rather than gable grip the wrist for the armbar. Couple of things to fix here, starting with the initial position. Need him to attack the shoulder. Gable grip hard down. That was much better. Good. Gonna step on the hip. Now he's got to roll through for the armbar. Post it on the shoulder. That looks tighter. That looks much tighter. That was a lot better. Still too much space. Look, you could physically see daylight here. Still too much space. So remember, as you're rolling, you're retracting that heel the whole time to pull, I shouldn't say pull your opponent's body closer, to keep your body tight to your opponent's. I don't think he'll be able to get the armbar without an adjustment, which he does. He's got to get the other leg around the head. There we go. Got Zach going for the shoulder saddle. Got to switch his grips. I don't know why, but Zach's having a lot of trouble knowing what hand is on top. So his left hand should be on top. Right hand should be on the bottom right now. There we go. I think I told him to switch. Here, I'd like to see him a little bit more on his side, rotated this way. Again, if this is a perfect perpendicular line to the floor, which is not, you can see his shoulders are not in line with it. There we go. got it on the second try. Good. Callus switches over, so his knee's going to touch the ground, roll through, control his body. That was great. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to run it back. Clamps down. Good. Again, that transition's a little bit slow, but they're white belts, so I'm not too mad at it. Again, you want to be as smooth with that roll as possible. Nate turns, got a good grip on the shoulder, still flat on his back. Bob is doing a good job of keeping his arm not shallow, deep, and hugging Nate's head. So Nate is having a really hard time getting to that perpendicular angle that he needs to initiate anything that we went over today. Again, from here, but exactly. Your opponent steps over that leg, you have a chance to go for the back. Or you could get stuck in Kesagatame here. So let's look at what went right. Let's look at what went wrong. Here, your opponent pushes down. Boom. Okay, you're essentially halfway to the back already. If I were Nate, I would have let go of this grip and attacked. Left hand goes around the waist and start to, lack of a better word, shrimp out this way to post on the right arm so I can get an angle on his back this way. Bob did the right thing of taking his right leg and also passing that over. So Nate got a little bit lazy with his own right hook. Here, and now you see Bob's leg escapes out, and now he's in Kesagatame. So imagine if it's halfway to the back, treat it like that anytime your opponent has a deep grip on your head, like bicep or higher, and has passed your bottom foot. Charlie got the grip. Not quite. Oh, he let go of it way too many times. He had no grip on it. Let's look at that again. Here, look. From the beginning, he's got a rear naked choke grip, which is good for keeping your opponent down. But as you move, it's not going to create enough torque to keep their shoulder on your chest. Let's see that in action here. Yep, misses it. Completely lets go of the grip. He's framing on his opponent's head right now with nothing controlling the shoulder. So Zach can just simply posture up, which he does. Khaled going for the technique. Got a base out. Again, Zach has a deep, deep grip on his head here. I would almost tempt my opponent to pass that bottom leg. Like, leave my right leg lazy on the floor and hope that they step over so I have a chance to take their back. It's a little bit of a bait game. Might work out, might not. Let's see what Khaled decides to do. But he's still trying to shrimp out. Zach is going to step over that leg. Okay, so now, again, halfway to the back from here. I would start, I would keep this tight. I would start shrimping out, trying to base onto my right arm. Left arm, I say attacks the hip, but really should be grabbing the hip. And try and get out onto my opponent's back, or at the very least get on top for the sweep. Uh-oh, we got a problem. Khaled got lazy with that bottom leg, and Zach is passed. So now he's free to go to Kesagatame. If Khaled gets lucky, he can still, because Zach is looking pretty parallel to the floor, his chest to the floor. Kirk might be able to end up on top here. Or not Kirk. Khaled might be able to end up on top here. Oh, there we go. Exactly. So if you have the person on top, be perpendicular to the floor when you pass. If you're the person on bottom, you also want to be perpendicular to the floor so you could end up on top or take your opponent's back. Let's look at that again. Boom. Okay, so everything's good so far. Zach's going to push that bottom leg to the floor, but he makes the mistake of being too quote-unquote flat relative to the floor. Very little resistance here from keeping Khaled from ending up on top. Here, Bob is on top, obviously. Khaled is going to get a weird grip. Again, I'm not hating on it. I prefer the gable grip here. Correct gable grip. There we go. And they're off, I think. Oh, and he lost it. That grip was weak from day one.